Okay, good morning. We'll begin with the Administrative Practices Committee meeting. Today is October the 6th at 9 a.m. We are sitting at the district office headquarters in Grass Valley, and those of you on Zoom are comfortable in some other location on the computer. So I hope that you can hear us. If you can't hear us well, then please raise your hand. If you want to speak, you'll speak with star 9. Otherwise, raise your hand on the computer if you're on the computer. So if you don't hear us at any point in time, please raise your hand, and we will work with technology to figure it out. At this point, we will open items up to public comment that are not on the agenda. Any items for public comment on items that are not on the agenda, you'll raise your hand by pressing star 9 on your phone or raising your hand on your Zoom online screen. I see a hand raised by John Norton. Mr. Norton, please go ahead and talk.
Yes, I have a question. Does NID have a draft report on financing Centennial Dam?
That is a question that I don't know. Yeah, we'd have to check into that, John. But we can certainly check into that. And your question was a draft. Say that again.
A draft report on financing Centennial Dam.
Okay.
Thank you.
Don't know that? You got it, John. Any other questions? Okay, seeing none, we'll go ahead and close public comment and open item number 1. Just make a comment here that we have moved item number 2, which is approving the minutes, below item number 1. It's because we've got some guests on the call today regarding this annexation. We just kind of wanted to get it through before we went into additional items. So we wanted to be a bit more time certain on this. Shannon, are you on the phone?
Yes.
Great. We can see you and hear you. Also visual.
Perfect. Good. Shall I just get started?
Please.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. So I just wanted to give you a little bit more background to kind of elaborate on the staff report. In 2007, working in close collaboration with the district, LAFCO adopted a sphere of influence plan for the district, which included a plan for annexation of many of the islands surrounded by district boundaries, especially areas where the district has already provided service. This plan was responsive to 2 LAFCO policy objectives. Number 1, avoiding piecemeal annexations, and number 2, encouraging public accountability, like ensuring that populations who are receiving services are able to vote for their decision makers. Over the years, most of the islands around the Nevada City and Grass Valley areas were brought into district boundaries. However, the Alta Hill area is still an area that needs to be addressed. In 2019, a service request from a landowner in an island that was located off of the East Bennett Street, east of Grass Valley, prompted the district to initiate an annexation of a cluster of adjacent parcels. At the LAFCO hearing, commission members noticed a handful of islands in the immediate vicinity and asked NID if it would be possible to initiate subsequent annexation of these areas. District staff was agreeable, and consequently, a provision to that effect was included in the Commission's approval of that East Bennett Street annexation. As I began working on the process of pulling together information for this LAFCO application, I contacted SR Jones, Executive Officer with Nevada County LAFCO, to review the Alta Hill area. As we were reviewing the maps in the Alta Hill area, we identified the candidate annexation areas, including a few parcels off the Rough and Ready Road, and in addition, the parcels on Idaho-Maryland Road. I will point out that there is one parcel on Centennial Way that was mistakenly included, and I have confirmed with SR that this was in fact previously annexed with the East Bennett Road annexation and therefore can be removed from this application. There are 76 parcels in total received, representing just over 43 acres. 68 of those are current NID customers and receiving treated water. They are being charged outside district rates at 25% higher than inside district rates. You can see on the maps that there are treated water lines in these areas, so no new treated water lines need to be installed to serve the 8 remaining parcels should they request service. NID mailed letters to all property owners, and a copy was included for your reference, and requested feedback of support or opposition to the proposed annexation. I received 32 mailed-in responses. There are 25 landowners in support and 3 who sent in objections. I would like to note that the 3 objecting landowners control 7 parcels. So to break that down, there are 2 parcels with 1 landowner that are located in the Idaho, Maryland, Rhode Island, and there are 5 parcels with 2 landowners that are located in the Alta Hill area island. A draft resolution has been prepared and included for your review. In addition to specific information that I've just reviewed, some elements of the resolution that I'd like to highlight are that the map identified as Exhibit A is forthcoming. It's the map that will actually come from the surveyor officially describing the area to be annexed. However, the same area is illustrated in the maps provided today, minus the small parcel off Centennial Way. The parcels located west of the city of Grass Valley are proposed to be included in Division 5, while the parcels on Idaho, Maryland Road are proposed for Division 1. And because this territory already lies within the district service area, it does qualify for a categorical exemption to the provisions of CEQA as cited in the resolution. So at this point, I've asked SR if she would like to review the LAFCO process going forward, just to give you the rest of the story from the LAFCO point of view.
Hey, everyone.
Good morning, SR.
Good morning.
Everyone hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Good to see you all. I wanted to tell the committee what a pleasure it's been to work with Shannon and with Greg on this project. And then I want to give you a little overview of the LAFCO process once that would start up if the district moves forward with this annexation proposal. Once we here at LAFCO receive the application, we would notify and request comments from the county and the other public agencies in the area that have territory in the annexation area, and that would include the city of Grass Valley. We'd get comments from them or any recommendations they might have. We'd also review the proposal and the agency comments and then schedule a public hearing on the proposal, after which the commission could then take action after hearing the public's comments. Prior to the hearing, 21 days prior to the hearing, LAFCO will mail notices of the hearing to each landowner and each registered voter in the annexation area, and then also to the landowners and voters within 300 feet. The notices, as I said, are sent out 21 days in advance. Notice will invite comments before or during the LAFCO hearing. I want to let the board know that, or the committee know that it is not necessary for every landowner to consent to an annexation, and in order for it to proceed, the LAFCO process allows for proposals that have a majority of public support to move forward, even if a few people object. Following the public hearing, the commission will take action to either approve, conditionally approve, or deny the proposal. If the commission approves it, there's opportunity for any individual to request reconsideration of the decision within 30 days. And also within 30 days, if there have been any landowners or voters that have presented objections at the commission hearing, there would be a final protest hearing that would be conducted by LAFCO. At that time, the LAFCO will evaluate the level of protest, and if 50% or more of the voters were in opposition, the proposal would be terminated. There's also provisions for a vote. If 25% of the voters or 25% of the landowners who hold 25% of the territory, the value of the territory were to protest, then it would be subject to an election just within the annexation area. And if there was a protest of 50% or more of the voters, then, oh, I said that, I'm sorry. If less than 25% of the protests are received, then the project is completed. We would go ahead and file it with the State Board of Equalization and record with the county, and that would be it would be incorporated into the district's boundaries as of that point. Any questions on the LAFCO process for me?
Well, this is Ricky. I do have a question. Why? Why is LAFCO recommending that we do this?
I can answer this.
Okay, thank you.
So if you don't mind, Shannon and SR, I can answer this. This is stemmed from a discussion that SR and I had last year regarding annexations of Nevada County parcels. There are a handful of other parcels in Nevada County, and we know that there are a lot of parcels in Placer County that are islands within the district.
Right, I'm aware of that.
The district has been sort of budgeting and moving forth and trying to close these islands up and be more holistic in our sphere of influence and bring these islands into annexation. As SR and I looked, this was, I want to say, the end of last year-ish, SR, we were prioritizing parcels within Nevada County. So we have a series of kind of a three-part prioritization schedule. This is one of them. These parcels here on Alta Hill were really prioritized, one, to the fact that NID is serving these communities right now. They are paying out a district piece.
So that's a question. So NID is serving them directly or through the city of Crestone?
Directly.
Directly.
They are customers of the district.
Okay.
They have been for a while. They are paying out of district fees. We figured this was an opportunity to turn around and say, you know, let's clean these folks up.
Right.
It's just a matter of cleaning up. We're just moving the process forward. We've identified a couple. The one over here on the mortuary as well was one. And as SR noted, as a condition of the East Bennett annexation that we did last year, we failed to include these small little parcels off to the side. So it was a condition of the LAFCO commission that said, okay, we're going to approve this bigger parcel of East Bennett, but we want you, SR and NID, to go back and take a look at these and bring them into the district as soon as you possibly can. Okay. We budgeted for this year, 2020. Early this year, we kind of got overtaken by an annexation of the DeWitt Center, if you recall.
Yes.
So that focused a lot of our time and some expense within the annexation process, but it was moving towards the end of the year that we really wanted to solidify this annexation in total before the end of the year 2020, because as you know, we do not have budget for 2021 in annexations next year. So we really thought it prudent to bring this forward now, based on the fact that this was a process that SR and I had defined as a prioritization area within Nevada County. That's why, if that helps.
That's a good answer.
That is a good answer.
That's a great answer.
And then, so my next question, SR, or Greg, whoever, is why would people object to this? What is it about this? It seems like it's just a ministerial thing.
Maybe.
And what is the objections about? Is it money? Is there money that we?
Shannon, do you have an answer for that?
You know, I did talk with a few people. Every phone call that I received, it was very, why are you doing this? What's the point? I mean, it didn't seem like there was a drawback. People were kind of scratching their head like, you know, what's in it?
Like us,
yeah, right.
Yeah, so I really don't understand why they would oppose unless they're just uncomfortable with change, or I don't have an answer for you.
So we
is it true if they get annexed and they're already getting water, their water bill's gonna go down?
That's correct.
So, would that be historic with some people that aren't getting water? Would be my only guess, would be a protest from historic perspective, right?
But it has to be the protest of those properties within the annexation. It's not a protest of NID service territory in general.
Okay.
So
That's correct.
more than likely it just is a misconception of what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
More
It's almost
government.
like nobody gets free lunch.
More government oversight or more government layers.
Right.
I mean, just listening to SR, it was like, oh my God, this is like such a bureaucratic.
Well, the annexation is.
Yeah.
But the heart of what we're doing is we're moving these parcels into the district. Number one, these 68 parcels are going to get a lower NID water bill, period. They're going to be able to vote in elections in the future. Those are the two primary things, and those are the only two things. NID does get a percentage share of property taxes once they are annexed into the district. So the NID gets reimbursed in this process over the next 100 years.
Right.
Or however long the county is assessing property taxes, NID has our property tax agreement with the county, and with that we will get a proportionate share of that property tax. Now, the property owner does not see any increase in their property
Understood.
Their water goes down, their taxes don't go up.
tax. More than likely, it's probably just a misconception, a fear of change, like Shannon says. But I don't think beyond that, you guys, there's really anything strange about it.
So I guess the next question, has there been enough protest to trigger the election?
Not at this point.
Okay. There we go.
Okay, and then my other question is, so in this process, because I reached out to Tim Keyser and Lisa Swarthout and said, hey, I just want to make sure you guys know what we're doing here, and I've not yet received a response. So did I understand you to say, SR, that the city gets brought in after, assuming we approve this after today or after the board approves it, or lay that out?
That's absolutely correct. The first thing that LAFCO will do is notify the county, specifically the auditor and the assessor, so that they can verify the tax exchange agreement exists. And then will also notify the city and the other overlaying agencies like the fire district, et cetera. But the city will be notified, and I understand that Shannon's already also reached out to, I think you spoke with maybe Tom Last and Tim.
Well, yeah, I reached out to both Tim and Tom Last, and I spoke with Tom Last, so they are aware of it.
Is there any reason the city would object?
We have an ongoing sort of NID service territory, Grass Valley, city limits conversation with the city, and it's been going on for quite some time.
I know.
I think the other piece that I forgot to mention was there is one individual in this annexation area that wants to subdivide or wants to split parcels, and has requested that there's a parcel split. Well, if this annexation doesn't happen, that parcel split, one property will get water, the other will be left as an island, and we will not be able to service that.
Yeah.
Right? So with that, and as well as with all sorts of other different little areas around the city of Grass Valley and NID service territory, as Shannon's conversation with city engineers, how I interpret it, Shannon, and correct me if I'm wrong, but we determined that this will be, we don't want to piecemeal our whole plan with the city.
Right.
This is kind of piecemealing it, mostly because of this one particular resident who wants to split and move forward with a project. This water issue would prevent him from doing that. So that, in coupled with the fact that the LAFCO commission had asked us to bring those others in, we thought it appropriate to say, look, Grass Valley, we're going to continue on our discussions with the overall NID service territory, Grass Valley, city limit boundaries, there's some tits for tats and there's some give and take that we still need to negotiate and work out, and both parties are completely aware of it. So we haven't heard that the city was in opposition to this annexation, correct me if I'm wrong, like off the go. I think we have agreed that we're going to continue to work forward with this long-term strategy and long-term planning for both NID territory and City of Nevada of Grass Valley. SR would be right involved with all that as we move forward too. So that's a long-winded question to say, is the city going to object? We don't believe so, although they are within their powers to do so.
And why would they? Because then they get some tax revenue, less tax revenue or something?
SR,
That would happen. Do you get less tax revenue?
or is it the county?
I can talk a little bit about the tax share agreement. There is a, what happens is upon annexation, the city would give a portion of the increment, in other words, the growth, after, it would retain the base, but it would give up a share of its increment to the district. So there would be a opportunity cost, if you will. But that's only the properties that are within, that are already within Grass Valley, and a lot of these are not within, most of the Alta Hill Island is not in the city proper at this point.
Right. There are very few properties in the city limits of Grass Valley.
Yeah.
Like 3 of the 68?
I would say there are probably 10 to 12 in the city limits of Grass Valley. The remainder would be in Nevada County.
Yeah.
But this is also in Nevada Irrigation District service area, which I think is a, that's an agreement that represents an agreement between the city and NID that's been standing for many, many years now. So these are not outside the district's service area in that agreement, is my understanding.
Right.
And is there a downside to anybody, either NID or the city, in doing this?
This in particular annexation, or just general?
This particular annexation. Is there a downside?
Sure. The downside to NID is that we don't get the 25%
25%,
fee.
Uh-huh.
So right now, there's a 25% service fee on top of each one of these 68 parcels for every bill that they have every month.
Right.
So that's the downside to NID. The upside to that is these property owners receive 25%.
Discount.
Or they revert to a standard NID customer.
Standard NID.
And so there's an economic valuation both ways. We think this is the right thing to do because they are district customers. There's no reason why they shouldn't be outside the district any longer.
It's probably not going to cost us a lot of money.
It's
not
a large dollar amount that's going to be of any major consequence to the district in its budgetary process. It is the right thing to do for this community. Why it's never been annexed in the past, I can't tell you, but I think it's the right thing for the district to do. So that's the downside.
I agree with that whole.
Yeah, it seems right. I'm trying to educate myself a little bit here on this.
Yeah, the only downside is to the district is that we don't receive that additional 25% proportionate out of district fee that we charge these 68 customers.
And then, just so that I understand, the budgetary impact in total is what? I'm trying to, so it's 21.9, remaining budget.
There's no budget impact to reserves. This is budgeted for
budgeted.
the 2020 budget year.
Right.
So I think what we have in here, we've got funding for the fees, both for the LAFCO annexation fee as well as the Board of Equalization. We've estimated there to be approximately $2,500. Their fees are based on a per acre charge. So after the whole LAFCO process goes forth, it's then sent to the Board of Equalization, and then we know what their fee is back to the district after that. And then consultant to do the overall mapping of.
In this case, Nevada City Engineering is who you got?
That's right.
Yeah. Well, I think it's fine. I just am trying to use this opportunity to educate myself a little bit, because I'll get asked, like, what are you guys doing?
Sure will.
Why are you doing it?
Why are you doing that?
And Shannon's been asked that same question multiple times. Why are you doing it?
Why are you doing it?
It's LAFCO's fault.
It is a bit, it's just the fact that this is a parcel, these are parcels that should be, could be, and can be annexed, and they are current customers, and.
Got it. Yeah, I don't oppose it. I just
So
trying to
who
figure it out.
typically initiates an annexation, though? Is that
So sometimes,
from all directions?
yeah, sometimes, like I say, this one property owner had requested, they want to do a lot split, and as we look at it, we say, well, if you do that, you're going to have one of your lots that will not be able to get water.
Right.
Because you're outside the district and you can't.
Which parcel is that? Is that off of Alta?
Yes.
It is off of Bragg Avenue.
Off of Bragg. Oh, interesting. Okay.
So it is within our right or duty to initiate annexation. So we could say, we want to annex this, we can initiate that, and then the property owners can say yea or nay.
It is, but typically since I've been here, we've been initiating annexations based on a property owner's request.
Okay.
We get a request from a property owner that says, hey, we would like to be annexed into your district. And then then NID works with LAFCO and identifies kind of an appropriate boundary that you're taking, we'd be looking at, because we don't want to piecemeal it, because these fees
Right.
are something, staff time, there's consultant fees. So we want to assess as large of an area as possible that makes sense.
Yes.
But
Well, that was
typically,
my other question. So if you go up Bragg Avenue, or these guys are already in?
the white is already in.
The white is already in, so it's just, okay, so we're not leaving out like
No,
neighbor or something.
this would be a cleanup that, like I mentioned last year when SR and I did a review of Nevada County assessment. There's a couple other priority areas that we've got on a list that we're not going to get to for a little while now.
Right.
But it was just let's look at the overall map. Let's pick some points and say, this looks appropriate, as well as we had a request, so it kind of made sense. We had a request by a property owner, and it getting to the end of the year, I think we got delayed a little bit this year we focused on the DeWitt annexation piece, and then COVID kind of slowed us down again, but now it's like, all right, we've got some, let's put this back in momentum and hope we can get to it before the end of the year.
Well, I think it's fine. Does this go on consent to the board, or are we, this is not a money thing, right?
It would, we'd need so the resolution is drafted here.
Yeah,
What
I read it.
is come to the board with the draft resolution, and the board authorizes it, proceed. And that's when we would begin the process.
Got it.
Sounds good.
Sounds fine to me. I would think we can put it on consent.
Okay.
But be ready for questions.
Right.
For sure. Okay,
Yeah, I think we're good.
anything else?
Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Thanks.
Public comment on this item, hold on, Shannon. Is there any public comment on this item? Star 9? Okay, seeing none, we'll close this item. Thank you both.
All right. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh,
They can go ahead and ask.
well, yeah, let's,
Phone number. Go ahead, somebody with a phone number of 7068.
Good morning, this is Sid Brown, and I was star 9 for the whole time, so sorry that didn't get picked up. I just have a couple quick questions. It would have been useful on the map, which was a very good map, to show the Grass Valley city boundary, because that's why it's out of district, correct?
No,
No.
no,
Okay.
but I can.
Could you describe where the city boundary is, or what's in and what's out?
Yes. So if you look at the Alta Hill area, and if you're on the east bold line, there's one diamond-shaped parcel midway down the line, if that's helpful. So it cuts in there. So the city limit includes that diamond-shaped parcel, and then it kind of cuts along Alta Vista and grabs the bottom half of that moon shape of Alta Vista and then down Alta Street. So it just barely cuts into this small section of the southeast part of this area.
Okay, so that explains, I was looking at the parcels, that diamond-shaped parcel, and then going north and east, and they don't show NID connection and service. And is that because they are already receiving water from the city of Grass Valley?
No, they are actually receiving those two eastmost parcels, northeast parcels. Those are Bragg Avenue addresses, and they actually do receive treated water from NID via a variance. Their meters are on Bragg Avenue.
Okay. Thanks, Shannon. I appreciate that. And then could you just very briefly address the other two parcels that are separate and to the west, the big triangular parcel, and then the little piece by Gilmore Way, what those represent, just land use-wise?
Those are two, I believe they're commercial. It's it's escaping me right now. They're the two small businesses in front of Lyman Gilmore and Scotton Schools. Plumbing, Mark Johnson Plumbing, and another small.
Okay.
But they are also receiving treated water from NID.
Okay. And then the big triangular parcel, is that the cemetery?
That's the
Yes.
cemetery. Yes.
Okay. Thank you. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Sid. Thanks, Sid.
I appreciate
Okay.
it.
Any other questions? Star 9? Okay, we will now close item number 1.
Okay. Thank
Thanks,
you.
Shannon.
Yep.
Okay, item number 2 is approving the minutes from the last meeting on September 1st.
I have a question. No, this was fine with me.
No questions.
No questions.
Great. So, we'll approve those items, that item, and we'll close 2 and open item number 3. Adrian, would you like to come up and... District-wide Reservoir Study Project, FATR 2500.
Good morning. Good morning.
Turn on your mic there. The other one, the big one. Yeah, the EP.
Good morning. So today we have in front of us the request to approve the contract for mathematical studies. So back in the midsummer, we started this district-wide reservoir study. And part of that was to look at, existing reservoirs, information on that. So back in 2007, we had bathymetric studies on a couple of reservoirs. And we then met in September. There was operations, engineering department, and also hydro to talk about kind of like a prioritization of the reservoirs, which one to get first and which were really necessary or critical to the district system. So as part of that discussion, we were thinking about bathymetric studies, and bathymetric studies are basically sonar at the bottom of the reservoir.
And it can look through the mud?
It can look through portions of the mud, as I understand. I mean, obviously,
Right.
it goes to a certain depth.
That was my question. How does it look down? How does it know where the bottom of the reservoir is?
Great point. But basically, it pings and gets
Okay.
an information elevation, so to speak. So the bigger reservoirs obviously are a lot more cost efficient if you do a bathymetric studies. The smaller reservoirs, it's too expensive, and so what you can do is go out with a boat and kind of plunk with a rod and get those elevations. So basically, 5 reservoirs came out that we'd like to get bathymetric studies on. So I went out to get quotes from 6 companies. 1 didn't respond, so 5 companies. I sent out a request for a quote, and I got back 2 responses. So the companies were Solmar Hydro, and the other was McLaren Engineering. And so McLaren Engineering was definitely the lower cost. And that's what we want to go with, and that's what we recommend for the board to approve.
Are these, this the first time we've done this, or is this an ongoing thing? Is this has this been done before on these reservoirs?
So the bathymetric studies have been done on Rawlins and Dutch Flat After Bay.
Okay.
So those two were done. And they actually also did Jackson Meadows, and they did Bowman.
Okay.
But the Jackson Meadows and Bowman, we discussed, those reservoirs appear to be okay. They're upper country, they don't silt in as much.
Right.
So yes, we did 2 of those reservoirs we're redoing again,
And so how long ago was that?
2007.
Okay.
So it'd be kind of nice because we get a snapshot of what
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah,
Exactly.
trend here, what's
Yeah.
going on.
And a bit to answer your earlier question, Chris, is that we know the bottom, we know the
We know from
the
history what
floor,
a lot of it is.
when the reservoir was installed, we know what the elevation of
Okay.
the floor
Right,
was, right?
I answered that question in my own head.
Now we will be able to tell where the elevation of
Yeah.
the sediment level is. So that's so we'll look at the elevation levels and topography of what that is.
Good. So it's kind of neat. What we get is it's a curve that they can produce basically on the original elevations versus the silted in elevation. And that we can tell, based on the elevation of the reservoir level, what's the capacity. So of course, your biggest capacity is when you're at spillway elevation.
Right.
The other neat thing is, back in 2007, we did single beam sonar, so basically just straight down point, and they have a grid, roughly 30 feet, points by 100 feet spacing go through the lines. So there's interpolation between these points, right? So if you have 2 points, but you have a really big sediment plunk, so to speak,
Oh, right.
you miss that, right? So it's not as accurate. This survey under this company, they do a point spread sonar, so they really get a lot of points and a lot more of a definitive bottom floor elevation.
We did some of this at the Combi sediment removal project.
Right.
So we went in early, prior to the excavation, in the winter. We did a bathymetric, and then we came in after the fact too, so you could see what the total elevation gain or loss was based on that. Pretty cool stuff.
Neat stuff,
Cool
yeah.
stuff, yeah. Be fun to see the results.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so the point of this is for us to gain this information and then potentially design a project around the removal, and we know how much is there. Is that, or is there another point?
It's data, right?
Data.
Sure.
Yeah, so part of the reason we want to do this is to get a feel for how much material is out there. And then to take a look at whether it makes sense to spend the money to remove the sediment that's there, or maybe we start, instead of looking at watershed improvements upstream, maybe debris dams, et cetera, to keep it from getting worse. Because there's a large amount of material that's going to cost a lot of money to remove. We've had some projects now, whether it's Combi, we've got Loma Rica, we've got Newtowns, we got to get a feel for what those costs are. And what you're starting to see is to remove that kind of material, you know, you could be in the $20,000, $30,000 to $40,000 an acre foot, which is a substantial amount of money.
Yeah, it is.
You know, for Rollins alone, you could be spending several $100 million to try to remove it all. So that's what we want to be able to.
Just the discussion about Rollins is to at least stem the flow, right?
Correct. It may make more sense
Right,
for the district to spend its money to try to keep it from getting worse.
Right.
By making improvements in the watershed up above and or the free dams versus trying to physically remove the material. Or it may be a combination of the two. We just want to get a good feel of where we're at, how much material we have in all these different reservoirs. And then also the smaller ones, whether we even need them in our system. And so whether it's to spend money to try to maintain them or to just dispose of them or get rid of them altogether. So the study's going to incorporate all of that.
It's a baseline process, trying to understand
Right.
where we're at.
Yeah.
Yes, no, it seems very important to do. I just was curious how the information was then going to be used.
It's an informational item that we can then move forward with a program and a process on how we're going to deal with all that.
Got it. And then can we all see the results of it? I'm like you, Chris. I want to see it. I want to see the graphs or.
I don't think so.
Maybe he doesn't think so.
You'll see the results. When did how long is the contract?
So they said roughly 14 working days to do the field survey, and then 30 days to the report. So I figured I give them 30 calendar days for the survey field work and 30 days for the report. So, by,
2 to 3 months.
yeah, by the beginning of December.
Cool.
Yeah.
So we can either bring back just that initial information, or it will be part of the overall report that we'll be taking to the committee and to the full board ultimately.
It'd be fun to see it.
So,
Yeah.
You'll see it.
Well, I would think the full board would be interested in seeing, just get that same baseline data.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, cool.
I'm in favor.
Me too.
Yep, sounds good.
Okay,
Nuts and bolts stuff of what we're doing.
I know, really.
so you
Oh,
have,
it's so nice to get to that.
you have authority here to make this determination.
Oh, we do. That's what I thought.
Back
yeah,
and
it's
forth.
within the APC authority for the
Okay,
contract.
all right, so thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there questions from the public on this? Star 9 to raise your hand. John Norton.
Thank you. And it's not clear to me, you're going to do bathymetric studies to compare to the original floor elevation. Is this contract going to do the comparison to the original floor elevation, or who's going to do that?
Yes, the consultant will do that. They have the base floor elevations and, our past mapping, so to speak. That'll be part of the product.
Excellent. Thank you.
Any other questions on this item? Star 9 to raise your hand. Okay, great. Well, thank you, board, members of the committee. We will close this item number 3, and we'll open item number 4, which is our last item.
It's one with good pictures.
Yeah. So we provided a couple pictures for you.
I know, I liked
To
it.
the end.
I want to
This
know
was-
I want to know who owns this industrial strength boat.
So,
Where'd that come from?
the owner is,
Do we own that?
With the crane?
We don't.
Crane.
The owner is, actually put down a cash deposit, and, we have the boat.
No, I meant the recovery
Oh,
boat.
The recovery, the High Sierra Marine.
The crane is a company out of Reno, Nevada.
Oh, okay, that was my question.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it in the back lot.
No. Although, we might want one. The more boats we're pulling out, this would have been the 3rd one or so in
Really?
the last 3 since I've been here.
Wow.
Years or so. So,
I've never seen something that looks like that.
yeah, but
That's
this,
pretty cool.
It's very cool.
This machine, typically the boats that we've pulled up have come up and they start the lift, and all of a sudden by the time they get up, they're all like turned over or something. These guys were really great. They had this, they grabbed the hole from the bottom, raised it all up, and they had a diver
Oh,
that was
okay.
managing all of the floaty materials that were in it, so life vests and T-shirts and shoes, flip-flops, and all this other stuff that was kind of contained within it as the boat went down.
Right.
He was kind of shepherding all, so as soon as it got near the top, all of that stuff sort of stayed in the boat.
Oh, wow.
It was
Good.
very cool. Staff, Don and Cindy were there, said it was super cool. Anyway, the boat's up, and the owner is making payments to NID to pay off the fee that it cost us to get the boat out of the water.
And what is
And,
that? And what is that fee?
Oh,
How much?
I think it was about $6,800.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said it was about $9,000.
Maybe 9, something like that. Yeah, maybe 98 or 96.
And
But he made an initial few $1,000 cash payment a couple weeks ago, and we've got a payment plan for this individual to pay off.
Good. And he doesn't get his boat till he's done.
Doesn't get his boat?
Okay, just making sure.
Is it in the back
Get his
lot?
boat.
Is it in the back lot? I want to see it. Oh,
I think
So
I think it's on site.
Why did these two boats sink? What was their problem?
This one in particular was making, it was kind of going in circles and
figure eight and swamp itself.
and wanting to swamp itself, and it succeeded
Succeeded in swamping it.
in the most dire way possible.
Oh, wow.
In the $10,000 way possible.
Well, and then
Wow.
I wonder, what happened to the guy? Did he just
Yeah.
swim?
Yeah.
I mean, then that was what, or did he just start screaming for help and someone picked him up, or what?
No, I don't know that
You don't know?
answer. I don't know, but he ended up
That's a good question.
leaving, packed all this stuff.
No, I know that part of the story, but I'm just wondering, when the
I got
boat
from the
was
water.
sinking, what did he do?
Yeah.
I mean, it looks like he was kind of out in a deep area here, it's not like he could just
Yeah,
walk.
yeah, I don't know that. I don't know how he got to shore. But
Funny.
Anyway.
Gave the depth here.
So the
Yeah.
things we do are, our spill response kit, which is a trailer we invested in last year.
Mm-hmm.
We tow behind, and it's got all sorts of booms and pigs within it. They suck up oil and gas, and so, we deployed that and helped get out there, and the rec department, assisted in getting us out and helping this crew get the boat to shore safely and, without incident. So, I feel like we cleaned it up as best we possibly could. You know, that took over a bit of time last month. Obviously, the safety department continues to work with maintenance operations, hydro departments on any number of site visits for site safety meetings, looking at confined space activities, gas monitoring, et cetera. We've been training as often and as much as we possibly can with COVID restrictions in place, equipment operator, bloodborne pathogens, et cetera, and some new folks that have come on as temporary. The safety department's been helping me with some of our claims work. So they've been assisting me in that administrative role, which is very helpful. We're updating our MSDS books, which is our material safety data sheets.
Mm-hmm.
So that is an annual slog, if you will. It's very inefficient.
That is a slog.
It's very inefficient. It lives within every truck, and it's all the new OSHA regulations and rules. We must be updated every year. We're trying to get to electronic version in that within iPads as our workers and maintenance and operations are out in the field a lot more with iPads, and once we get our CMMS, that's sort of the goal.
CMMS.
We're gonna be integrating that, but right now it quite literally is a binder that's got a bunch of pages in it, and it is just.
Because that was a big, I remember we discussed that. That was a big thing to get that all electronified.
Yeah, it's months worth of work.
Yeah. To get it loaded.
And then to get it loaded, yeah, and to get it in the system, yeah. There's a glitch there from OSHA in terms of uploading that information and getting them in like electronic format that makes sense. So
I mean, they just don't send them out ready to go in that format.
There is an IT glitch there that I hope that we will find a way around.
Okay.
Any questions regarding our safety work this last month?
Oh, looks good.
No, it does look really good.
Very good.
Okay. Any questions online? *9 to raise your hand. Okay. Seeing none, we will, I believe that
I think that was it.
concludes
Today.
the ACC meeting. It is 9:48. Thank you all for joining, and hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.